Hello everyone. So now we are going to discuss about concept number 5, cash transaction and credit transaction. It is important to differentiate which transactions are cash transaction and which transactions are credit transaction, because whenever you record the transaction in the books of accounts, whenever you record the business transaction in your books of accounts, you need to know whether they are cash transaction or credit transaction. Based on that only, we will record the transaction in the books of accounts. So first we'll understand what you mean by cash transaction. Cash transaction means settlement of money is done immediately. Money is being paid or received immediately. Is called as cash transaction. Let's say I sold the goods to the customer and I collected the money from the customer immediately. Let it be through cash or through Google Pay or Phone Pay, I received the money from the customer. So whenever I receive the money from the customer immediately, it is called as cash transaction. Let's say I purchase goods from the supplier and I paid money immediately to the supplier. So it is called as cash transaction. Now understand what is a credit transaction. We purchase the goods from supplier on credit and we promise to the supplier to make the payment in future. So whenever the payment of money or receipt of money is postponed to a future date, then it is called as credit transaction. So I purchase the goods from supplier on credit and I promise to pay in future, then it is called as credit transaction. Or let's say I sold the goods to the customer on credit and customer is telling that I'll pay the money in future. So no money is being exchanged now. Money is going to be received in future. Then it is called as credit transaction. So if immediate settlement of money is being done, then it's called as cash transaction. Suppose if the settlement of money is being postponed to a future date, then it is called as credit transaction. Now understand, whenever there is a cash transaction, name of the party, name of the customer or name of the supplier or name of the person is not required. Name of the person or party is not required if it is a cash transaction. Let us take an example. Let us say there is a person called as Chintu. Chintu go to a particular shop and he asks for a chocolate of 10 rupees. He buy a chocolate of 10 rupees. So what will happen? Chintu is going to pay the which one cash 10 rupees to the shopkeeper and shopkeeper is going to give the chocolate. But before giving this chocolate, is the shopkeeper is going to ask the name of the customer? No. Shopkeeper will not ask the name of the customer. Why shopkeeper wants the name? Why he wants to remember his name? Because you have received the money and you are giving the product. So there is no requirement of the which one name of the party. So name of the party or person is not required. If it is which transaction? Cash. Suppose if it is credit transaction, then name of the party is going to be necessary. Suppose if it is credit transaction, name of the person will be necessary. So let us say Chintu goes to the shopkeeper and he asks for a chocolate of rupees 10. And he promises to pay this money in future. He will tell to the shopkeeper, I don't have money now, I'm going to pay after 2-3 days. Now what will happen? Shopkeeper will ask the name of the customer. Before he gives the product or chocolate to him, the shopkeeper will ask, what is your name? Why? Why name is necessary? Because the shopkeeper has to remember from whom, from which customer he has to collect how much money. Because a shopkeeper will be having so many customers from whom he has to receive the money. So he has to remember from which particular customer he has to receive how much money. So in short, whenever there is credit transaction, name of the person is necessary. Or you can say whenever you record credit transaction, then name of the person will also be recorded. But whenever there is cash transaction, name of the person will not be recorded in the transaction. So name of the party not necessary to record a transaction if it is cash transaction, but name of the person is necessary to record a credit transaction. Yes. Now you understand how to classify the transaction into cash and credit. Let's say they are given a particular transaction to you. You need to classify it. Is it a cash or is it a credit transaction? So for that, you need to understand this rule. First, you find in the transaction given in the question name of the party. Name of the party. Is it being given in the transaction or is it not given in the transaction? Suppose if the name of the person is not given in the transaction, then it is a which transaction? Cash transaction. If name of the person or party is not given, then obviously it is cash transaction. Why they have not given the name? Because it's a cash transaction. That is the reason they would have not given the name of the person. So whenever the name of the party is not given in the transaction, it is a cash transaction. For example, goods sold rupees 16,000. They mentioned goods sold rupees 16,000. Have they given the name of the person or name of the customer or name of the party? Answer is no. Why they would have not given? Because it is which transaction? Cash. So whenever no name is given, you should take it as which transaction? Cash transaction. So here there are some examples. That is transactions relating to the which one? Sale of goods. So this all transaction we need to classify which all are cash and which all are credit. So this particular transaction is a cash transaction. No name of the person is given, then it is a cash transaction. Now next one. Suppose if the name of the party is being given in the transaction, name is being given, then you check along with the name, is it mentioned that cash is being settled, cash is being paid or cash is being received? They are given the name. Along with name, they have told that cash is being paid or cash is being received, cash is being settled. Then also it is a cash transaction. Along with name, if the cash is being settled given, then it is cash transaction. See for example, goods sold to Priya on cash. They have given the name of the person and along with that they mentioned that cash is being settled. Then this is also called as cash transaction. Next, suppose name of the person is being given but nothing is mentioned about the cash is being settled, nothing is told about cash is being paid or received, just name of the person is given without mentioning that cash is being paid or cash is being received, then you take it as credit transaction. Only name is given without cash is being settled, anything relating to that cash is being settled is not given in the question. Then it is which transaction? Credit transaction. See for example, goods sold to Priya. They have given the name of the person. They have not mentioned that what cash is being settled, not settled, nothing is told. Then it is which transaction? Credit transaction. So how do we understand? If the name of the party not given, then it's a cash transaction. If it is given and along with that they have told cash is being received or paid, then it's a cash transaction. If only just name is being given, nothing is told about cash is being settled or not, then it is credit transaction. Now let us see few examples and let us try to classify into cash and credit transaction. Cash sales. Here name only say cash sales. So it is a cash transaction. Next, goods sold for cash. Here also they themselves has mentioned sold for cash. So cash transaction. Goods sold to Priya on credit. We have sold goods to Priya on credit. So they mentioned sold on credit. They themselves mentioned. So it's a credit transaction. Goods sold on credit. Here they only mentioned goods sold on credit. So again, this is also credit transaction. Yes. So first three transactions are cash transaction. To record this transaction, first four transactions are cash transactions. And to record this first four transactions, no name of the person is required. But to record the credit transactions, these three transactions, name of the person is compulsory. Here we know the name of the person Priya. Here also we know the name of the person Priya. But this transaction, there is no name of the person. We don't know the name of the person. But to record credit transaction, name is compulsory. But here name of the person we don't know. So whenever there is a credit transaction, and if you don't know the name of the person, name of the party, if it is missing in the question, if it is not given, then you should use some common names, some general name, some common names to record that credit transaction. To record the name of the party, some common names you should use. So if you don't know the name called as Priya or name of the person in this particular transaction, then instead of Priya, you can use the name called as debtor. Debtor means a person to whom we have sold the goods on credit. Customer. Customer is called as debtor. A person from whom we have to receive the money because you have sold the goods on credit. So whenever there is a credit sale of goods, goods sold on credit, but you don't know the name, then use some common name, some general name, debtors, or you can say trade receivables, or you can say customer account, trade receivable account, or debtors account. Suppose you purchase goods on credit, but you don't know the name of the supplier. Then you can use the name called as creditors. Creditors means supplier of the goods to whom we have to pay the money. Or you can say trade payables or supplier account. So whenever there is credit transaction but name of the party is missing, then you should use some common names, general name. For credit sales, debtor, trade receivable or customer. For credit purchases, creditors, trade payables or supplier. Any of the name you can use it.